let's start with one by one. Just introduce yourself, where you are in the US, your name, and a little bit about how many years you're doing it for.
Right, and I would also add, if you can also add, what is your favorite dessert?
Okay, Andrea, you first.
Okay, I'm Andrea. I'm in New Hampshire. My favorite dessert is probably paleo chocolate. I have been using Shopify for, I looked today, I think since 2013 or 14.
Wow. And how many years you're a retailer?
Retailer since 2006.
You got it.
Wow.
Okay, Wendy, are you there? Unmute yourself.
I'll help.
I got it.
Okay.
I'm Wendy from Diva. I have 2 stores, one in Scottsdale and one in Sedona. My favorite dessert is probably chocolate lava cake with ice cream.
Yes.
We use Magento in one store. We've been using it probably for about 10 years. And in the other store, we use eCommerce. And we've been using that for maybe 2 years.
And how many years you in business?
Diva's been in business for 18 years. And Diva Hillside in Sedona has been in business for almost 8.
All right, wonderful, thank you.
Yes, Wendy, we only see your glasses. I don't know if you have a way to...
I think it's because it's on my desk. Is that better?
That's fine. Whatever is comfortable for you, because you're gonna...
Yeah, perfect. Now we see you, yeah. Leah, are you there? Unmute yourself.
And now I'm unmuted. Hi.
Hi.
So I'm in Missouri, St. Louis, and I have had my own store for 4 years. I've been a retailer from before then. I was a wholesaler, done a lot of things. I've been on Wix since 2006, I think was the first time I made a Wix website, and I've continued to use them. I use them for e-commerce for our store. I mean, yeah, chocolate without question, #1 dessert. I guess just to be a little more, to differentiate, it's going to be chocolate with peanut butter, like chocolate peanut butter pie or.
Oh. Very
That's
good.
what I want.
I know what to send you. I have the perfect chocolate peanut butter. All right, where is Margrit? Hello, unmute yourself, Margrit. Introduce yourself. Margrit.
You're good.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. We're not sure about this setup here. We've had a little computer
Actually,
issues.
now you actually sound very good and very clear.
Oh, great. Yeah. Okay. And Rachel's right behind me because she has worked on this with me. I'm Margrit Lehman. I have limited editions and live where love in Tucson. Been doing this for 35 years. So you would think I'd be an expert at a lot of stuff, but this new method of selling is puzzling us a lot. And if I didn't have Rachel, I'm not sure I could do this. We use a system called WordPress. Semifreddo is my favorite dessert, which is like the espresso with ice cream. And started having that actually in San Francisco in a restaurant. And now they're doing it here in Tucson in some of them. So what else do you need to know? I forgot already.
Perfect. No, we have 35 years and you have 2 stores, right?
Yeah, I actually have 3, but one of them is where we have our sale merchandise. So we don't ever count that as a real thing.
But it's a good concept to talk about one day.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
And where is Kathy, Possibilities, and Kristen? Unmute yourself. Go ahead.
Hello. Hi, I'm Kristen with Possibilities. We're in Cary, North Carolina. Possibilities has been around for 33 years this year. And I've been with Kathy for off and on like 10 of those, 10 or 12. Oh my gosh. And we just started using Lightspeed just earlier this year as our POS, and then just got it up as our eCom a few weeks ago. So new to all of this.
Great. And favorite dessert?
Oh, if I'm at a restaurant, tiramisu, but lately it's been the Trader Joe's chocolate peanut butter cups.
Wow. Okay, Leah, write it down. All right, Aline, take over.
Okay, great. So If we can go by the same order of, starting with Andrea and then Wendy, and I think then it was Margrit and then Leah and then Kristen, each of you can answer. So why did you choose the specific software that you chose? Yeah, a little bit background on that.
I chose Shopify because I actually own a previous store that I used Volusion on. And when I started this one, I only had like an informational website. And I realized that I wanted to do e-commerce. I was on WordPress at that time. Shopify for me was the easiest. It was the most effective for what I wanted to do. And I thought it was the easiest for those who aren't tech savvy to do. So if my mom needed to help me, she could easily do that because it was very intuitive when I looked into it.
Great. Wendy?
I don't really remember why I chose Magento. I don't think when we set up our website, Shopify was around, but it wasn't as popular as it is now. And I actually had my website done in India.
Wow.
And so, yeah, it was less expensive to do it that way. And I chose a firm that turned out to be great. And when we originally did our website, it was really well. And supposedly the functionality for Magento is there's more things that you can do with Magento than you can do with some other things. And that's kind of how I ended up with Magento.
Yeah, we'll get into the details in a minute. Yeah, Wendy.
Margrit?
We actually had a website set up that had no e-commerce possibilities. That was done by a local gal. That was a fun way to introduce it. And then we finally decided we needed to have the capacity to sell. So I hired someone that had actually used, hang on a minute, cell phones. I actually hired somebody that had used WordPress before and had a technical person to help them with that. And so we thought that was a great match. So that's why we tried it.
Cool. Leah?
Yeah, so I first started with Wix before I had my own store. I was doing other work, and most of you know I was with Yale, and we just started as having a basic informational website, and I picked Wix because it was inexpensive. I thought it was super easy to use. It's a lot of drag and drop to build stuff, like to build your own landing page. And I thought that was pretty interesting. I could, figure out how to use it easily. At the time, they still do, they had an office in New York not far from us. So if I needed help or support, I could meet with them. They have, I'm looking right now, they have offices in New York, San Francisco, Miami, and LA. So if your store happens to be close to any of those spots, that was a big advantage for me. And then I switched to e-commerce with them because I was already familiar with the platform. And yeah, I personally found it super, super easy to use. And that's, my favorite feature is that I just feel like I've been able to learn it real fast.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Okay.
Kristen?
Maria. Like I said, we just got Lightspeed. We set it up in February and we chose it as our POS for the store. So we were already making that shift to that. And part of the reason we liked Lightspeed was that it had the capability to seamlessly run our inventory from the POS and also through the eCom. So they're integrated really, really well. When we got it, we weren't really planning on setting up the online shop right away, but it's made this whole process so much easier having to get it up quickly with the store being closed and everything. So we're really glad we made that decision back in February.
Great. So if each of you can describe how long roughly did it take you to set up the store, and what was the biggest frustration and what was the easiest thing to do?
I couldn't tell you how long it took me to set up. It's been so long. I think it was pretty easy to do. You just kind of upload everything, the images, name it, whatnot. my biggest frustration probably still is some of the features that they're lacking that seem like something any e-commerce store should have. But there's like apps that you can download to help you with that as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Wendy?
It took us several months to set it up.
Several months. Because of the communication with India, or?
No, I think it wasn't as easy as some of the websites are now. It wasn't as easy just to set it up like Shopify is now, I think you almost need somebody else to do it for you. It's not so much of a do it yourself to set it up. And by the time they set it up, it took several months.
Right. Okay. Leah? No, sorry, Margrit. How long did it take?
Oh,
Sorry.
forever. It's, you know, I can't attest to it personally because I didn't do it personally, but I was in the same office and it seemed like it took a long time. And we needed assistance, and the information we had to start out with just didn't seem to fall true for us. I think we did this, what, about 4 years ago? Yeah, we set it up about 4 years ago, and by the time we got to a format where we were relatively happy, it was over a year. But that's because we wanted specifics and we wanted to have a certain way we could display things, and that wasn't working out too well, and we needed somebody else's help. So it was more difficult. I know, Aileen, you were part of that, I think, in the beginning when Jen was here, and it just was more complicated. And the unfortunate thing is now that she's not here, and Rachel and I are trying to, or Rachel's trying to anyway, to jump in, there's a big learning curve that we have not really achieved yet. So, you know, I think that the length of time it took us to set it up was surprising. Once it was up, I was pleased with it, and the running and changing of it now is going to be another challenge.
Do you remember a specific part that was frustrating and a specific part that was, you know, ran relatively smooth, like the design or the products upload, or?
I think, go ahead,
yeah,
Rachel.
I'm pretty much the main person that does the website now, and the one thing I would say is it's very slow. It takes forever for me to upload pictures, that kind of thing. My main thing is how to implement the website to actually sell, you know, to use it as a, you know, as a medium kind of thing for customers to get on. I mean, I would have to literally just come into the office and just do the website.
Yeah.
But it's very slow. So that's my frustration with it.
Yeah, uploading a picture.
All right.
Rachel, you mean how to actually make it working in terms of sales, making it successful? No. Okay. Got it.
Uploading pictures and introducing new merchandise. The sales are the easiest thing in the world.
Oh yeah, I mean it's easy. You know, I mean as far as like people getting on there and buying things, that's super easy. It's seamless.
Yeah.
The slow part of the website is actually going in and adding new things.
Got it.
It takes, you know, easily probably 15 minutes per one item.
So just as a side note, I usually promote Shopify when I talk to stores, not because I have something with Shopify, I just believe in it very, very much. But WordPress is actually my true love. So Shopify is just the lover. But WordPress is my true love. And just as a side note, if it's very, very slow, you may want to check the technical connections and the speed of everything, because it's not supposed to be slow.
Okay.
Yeah. So just a side note. Yeah. Sorry, taking from your time.
No. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Leah.
Okay, I was unmuting. So I'm a big advocate of Wix. I really love it. I just want to say that at the beginning. When I set up the store, I did it in stages. So they have a drag and drop store. You can just you know, on the one side of the screen when you're building your website, on this side there'll be a list of options, and you can see, I think they have like 3 or 4 default layouts, and you pick one you like and you drop it. So I did that, and it had 6 spots for 6 products. And that was what I started with, because I was under the idea that I would try to just put up limited things and change them, so that people could have like, this is what you need to get. So that was step 1. And I'm trying to remember how long it took. It certainly didn't take more than like a day or 2 to get that limited amount going. It is time consuming because of the data to put in all of the pictures, all of the information, all of the sizing. So that was step 1, was just to get something up, and that was pretty quick. But then to actually put in almost all of our inventory, I think today we probably have like, gosh, probably like 80 or 90% of what I have is on the website. And that took about a month and a half with a full-time girl working on it. And I helped her. We kind of did it together, but she really like ran the show. And that was just because of the volume. And we had to take pictures and put all that information in there. So that does take time, but I think I think there's value in having an e-commerce store, and you don't have to have it 100% complete to have it live. Wix has also evolved a lot too. So they have, I'm just going to show you, they have an app you can have on your phone. This is my Wix app up here. So if I want to add a new product today, I go right into their app. I go to like the main part of it, and then it says manage. I can just, I'm sorry if it's not showing well, but I can go into the store, and then at the top of the screen, you see it says products. I just hit that. At the bottom, it says add new. I don't know if you can see that. I'm sorry. But if you just hit the add new at the bottom, snap the photo, put in the price, and you're done. And it's live as soon as I'm done with this. So it's really handy. I do think, I think I said it's an evolution. So there's like the first stage of having an e-commerce store, which is just having a presence. And then the second stage is really flushing it out. And then the third one is like optimizing. And that is long. I mean, probably a year and a half or 2 years to feeling like I have what I want up there, because I can put customer reviews. I can put size charts for different designers. I mean, there's a lot of tools I can use. And it was not important to have those tools day 1. But now I'm at the point where it is important to do that. And I really like Wix because I think it's super easy to build those things.
Did you say something that was frustrating at all with that?
Yeah, so I actually think the reviews, the one thing I mentioned, is kind of disappointing because I wish that it worked a little better. I think I'm at the point with my website where now if people can see from other customers really positive information, it'll just help us convert more sales. And that's where my focus is converting. And I wish that the review function was a little easier. You didn't have to log in with Facebook to make a review. I mean, I wish that was a little bit nicer.
That's a good point. Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Great. So, Kristen, if you can talk a little bit about your site, and there was a question specifically, if you can include in your answer to Sophia, and she's asking, what's the biggest difficulty with Lightspeed, and how much time do you dedicate to work on eCom on that site every day?
Well, I'll kind of start because I mean our eCom is new. We decided to close the store March 17th from coronavirus, and it was a couple days after we were like, you know what, this is the time to do it. Let's get this up and going. We have the time, we have the merchandise. So we closed March 17th and went live April 3rd. So, and it was just doing as much as we could in those couple weeks, photographing. But I will say, having Lightspeed, we had already transitioned all of our merchandise onto that POS, so it made the transition so seamless. We already had everything in there, so it was just photographing, attaching the photographs, and moving it over. So we got the website up in just a couple of weeks. I mean, we were working hard to do it, but we had already done a lot of the hard work on the back end, getting all of that up into the POS already. So I think that what really helped us to be able to get that turnaround faster. And I mean, it's like we were just saying, you know, it's still kind of basic. We're still adding merchandise daily and weekly, but we're also adding other functions to help the customer shop and working on that search engine optimization and all those things. So it's still pretty bare bones, and we're, you know, going to keep building that as we move forward. But just being able to get it up, I think it's really helped our customers to have that visual as they're shopping, because we post on Facebook and Instagram and our email, but for them to feel like there's a place to go and shop, I think has been really good in this time. I would say one of our biggest frustrations getting this up in such a short time is that Lightspeed they do some great training. Like when we got the POS up and running, we took a few different training sessions. We talked to them a lot on the phone. They were so inundated with a lot of people trying to get their eCom up that it was harder to get through. We didn't get those training sessions. I had to just kind of figure things out on my own, which was a good learning opportunity. But I think it would be a lot easier if we weren't in this kind of situation right now. You'd be able to get a little more training. And so that was my biggest frustration getting it up. But I will say that having done all of that work on the front end, having the POS set up, all of our inventory was managed, that really helped everything move a lot more seamlessly.
So just how much time roughly do you spend a day on the site, on the eCom part of things?
Is that just for me?
Yes, if you can. You can
answer. I mean, I'm doing that. Sorry, what?
No, yeah, please go.
Yeah. I mean, I'm working on it every day. But we have Kathy, our owner, and my mom, she's out there somewhere, hi. They're in the store kind of helping customers and doing all that, packing things up. I'm working from home, photographing things, putting them up. So, I mean, I'm doing that every day, but we're still adding a lot to it, trying to get things up weekly. So it's a lot, but I mean, we're all kind of doing what we got to do right now.
Okay, so Andrea, if you can also, in what we're going to talk about right now, if you can include how much time roughly do you spend a day, and also how often do you go into the store which device you're using to manage the store, phone or iPad or laptop, and how much time you're dedicating on each channel and in general?
I'm on it all day, every day, from everywhere, laptop, phone, desktop. And I just want to say, like, it's not a quick thing to do. You know, I think all of us are constantly working to add more I don't have all my stock on our website. You know, I would love to, but right now I'm a one-woman show. So I think that process is slow, but you will see benefit from it. Yeah.
Cool.
Every day, all day long. Okay.
Wendy? Wendy, how much time do you spend usually?
You know, I don't work on our website. Lindsay does most of the work on our website, and she probably spends at least a couple hours a day. And now she's spending almost all of her time because we're just trying to get things on just like everybody else. But it takes a lot of time. I mean, not everybody is as great with pictures like Alambika is, where they have almost all the pictures. We have a hard time finding pictures, especially pictures that are plus size. And so we spend a lot of time taking our own pictures, and then we have to cut them out, and it takes a lot of time. Most of our work is done from a desktop.
Okay. Margrit?
Okay, we have a couple of different situations. Our POS does not integrate with our website, which is kind of an issue, but we chose to keep it that way because we've been with, we use Retail Pro, and we've been with them for 20 years, and it was just too much to tackle at once. As far as the time on the website, that was sorely neglected for at least 6 months to 8 months. So now we have some time, Rachel and I decided this is going to need to be her full-time job for a while, because the biggest issue in keeping it the way we want to, first of all, we can't possibly put all of our inventory. So we've picked some pieces, and we need to enlarge that selection. But a lot of it does not have, a lot of them do not have great photographs available. So we need to take our own photographs. And the problem with that is what we found from the beginning is that that lacks uniformity. And to me, the appearance of a website requires uniformity for customers to be able to maneuver around. And so that's been our biggest frustration, is to coordinate it all, to get the right pictures. You know, do we put them on a mannequin? Do we put them on a live person? Do we just put them on a hanger? And some of those decisions are hampered by the fact that it takes so long to make a change. And so we will try and see if maybe our computer is just too slow, or we'll see if we can get an upgrade even more to our Wi-Fi. I don't know what it is, but we'll certainly check into that as soon as we can get our IT person to come out of the house. I think the picture uniformity is what slowed us down the most. The description, the sizing, pricing, all of that is not the issue. And as I said, the tail end of it is super simple. It's just right now having Rachel find the time every day to not be doing anything else. And we have some promotions going to keep, you know, to keep some cash flow. So that's kind of eating up all the extra time we have. But we have to make the commitment to make this website work. And that has been lacking on our part, not on the website, not on the, you know, not on WordPress's part, I think.
Yeah.
Is that, was I supposed to say anything else? Address anything else? What?
No, Leah.
So I'm sorry, what were the exact questions? How much time?
How much time do you spend, and which device are you using?
Okay. So for
I'm
me,
sorry,
I think
hold on. Leah, if you can just, all of you mention again what you use.
I'm writing it down on the
Okay.
chat, so it's easy,
Okay.
so it's easier.
So I use Wix, but for me, I see all of my digital businesses really connected. So whether it's Wix or MailChimp or Square or the social media platforms, which I use, I pop on 5 to 15 minutes. I don't even know, maybe a dozen times a day. That's what works for me. I have a short attention span, and I find I can get frustrated if I sit down for 2 hours to work on it. That doesn't really work for me. So I like to do it in short bits and then come back to it. But I just wrote down, because I heard some people talk about the pictures, and I felt exactly the same way. It was like overwhelming to have to photograph everything. And I wanted launch my store to have a visual statement. But what it came down to it was I just felt like I needed to get the merchandise up. I don't know if I froze because Eileen froze.
No, you're good. No,
Okay.
She's here.
So what I did to kind of deal with that, as far as like my own feelings about how my brand looked, was I decided that when I look at my shopping page, there's only a certain number of pictures across. I can choose how many I want. Sometimes it's 3, sometimes it's 4, but usually it's 3. So if I can have a uniform of 3 pictures in a row, that's what the user's kind of looking at. So if 2 rows down, it changes. So if I have an Alambika girl, I have 3 pictures of her here, and then 3 pictures of her here, and then down here underneath, it's maybe just a flat shot of the garment. As long as each row is the same, I really felt like it still looked sophisticated. It was when it was kind of sporadic that I was like, this doesn't look good. So that was like my workaround to try to photograph less and use what I had. And also I found that when I was uploading new items, the computer will automatically go in the order of which I've put stuff in. So I just made a plan before I entered it. I'm gonna do this pant followed by that jacket, followed by that top. So I didn't have to rearrange it once it was in. It just did the order that I set. Even if that meant instead of, you know, doing all of Alambika at once, maybe I do a few of Alambika and then some sunglasses and then Matilda and then whatever, but it saved me some time that way. So I I like to work fast. I like to jump around. And I use Wix. Were those all the questions? Sorry.
Yes. Yes. So, Kristen, how long do you spend well, I think we've kind of addressed that part. We've covered it. Yeah.
But it's daily right now. I will say, right now, I think we set up the store as a way to help our already existing customers, to help them shop while the store is closed. And then once things are kind of going back to normal and they're able to come into the store to shop, we'll then start trying to reach new customers who don't live here or can't come into the store. So that'll kind of change our focus, and it's just going to be interesting. So like right now I'm on every day, all day, but that might be a little bit different once, we're back in the store and things are hopefully a little bit more back to normal. So right now it's a lot, but we'll see how it is moving forward.
Right. So someone just made a very smart comment around site speed and resolution of images, and that's true for all stores. That we need. Each system has its own limits, its own definitions, but we all need to make sure that the images are in good enough resolution for the web to not be pixelated, but there's no need for it to be high resolution. There are two questions. I'm going to combine them together. One is, without getting into numbers, but just giving an estimation of what percentage is, what was the exact question? What is the percentage of your, let's go see, how much of your business is web-based? And the other question is regarding the collections. When you're uploading collections, and Leah, you touched that a little bit, do you do everything at once, or do you slice it and then upload it in sections and in groups and over time?
I would say my web business is probably 40 to 50% overall right now. I think at some point, if all my stock was on there, it would probably surpass in store. I'm not in a touristy area. I have regular customers. But that gives me, I have people coming from Mass up here too, because they know my lines and they're finding me from the website. And I just want to talk about Leah's comment on kind of the visuals. I used to be such a perfectionist, and this held me back. Your customer, I find, often wants to be able to buy that item easily. They don't necessarily care if it looks beautiful. So sure. I've let that go, and I'm just getting my product up there right now. And I think they do appreciate that. What was the other question?
No, that's it. Thank you. Wow. It's very interesting, Andrea. Wendy.
Okay, Wendy, roughly how much of your business is web-based, and how do you upload your collections?
Only about 5% is web-based. And if we get something in, we try to do pretty much the whole collection or a good portion of that collection. And if we're doing something else and we haven't gotten something in, then we just go through the store and pick things that we think should go on. And in our busy times, we don't have the kind of time that we have now. So we might go for a week without putting anything on, and then we'll just walk through the store and pick some of our favorite things and put them on.
Can I ask you, Wendy, just on that, do you know why, what's missing for it to grow from 5%?
No, I really don't. We have tried, I can't tell you how many people we have hired to help us. I don't know if it's because our customer is older and they just don't shop on the web as much. I mean, I've hired people that have done a great job for other people, so I've had some background on them, and they still haven't been able to help us. So I honestly don't know. I would love to know.
Okay. I know we'll have questions on that, but Andrea, quickie, what's your age group? Do you know your age group?
Mature, yeah, 50 and up.
50 and up. Okay. We'll go back to you, Texture. I know you have a question. Aline, is that okay?
I don't, okay. Margrit?
There I go.
You know, it's too minuscule to even mention a number at this point. And I think that's because of the way we are presenting product right now. We are presenting basically products that we know we can reorder easily because we only do a size run of things. So during our busy season, it's not worth to spend the time and the effort to put it on the website because it's going to be sold before we have a chance to upload it and do all of that work. So what we're choosing is artist pieces that are limited production pieces, one of a kind, that take longer to sell. And that limits us. So that's the part we want to change, you know, to get more current product on there and to be able to figure out then how to reach more people. That'll be the next stage. But right now it is just a very small amount of our sales. But it does sell the few items that we have that, you know, people don't necessarily, I mean, we carry some art pieces that, that are gift items, and those are the things that have sold. The unique pieces, which has been really interesting.
Jen, you wanted to ask a question, or you want to?
Yeah, I wanted to ask Wendy, because Sandy Lou mentioned that a lot of people came in her store because of the website. Like they saw something online and then came in. Do you have that?
Yes, I absolutely think we have that. A lot of people say that they've looked at our website and then they come in. Right. But we also can't put everything, just like everybody else, there's no way we can put everything we have on our website. Right. There's just not enough time.
Right. But I think it drives people, it drives
Absolutely.
business, whether you make money on it or they come into the store.
Yeah. That's a good comment. Kristen, go ahead.
Just Leah.
Yeah, ours, I can't give a definitive percentage since, you know, it's so new and most of our sales now are kind of running through that. But we're kind of in that same boat where, you know, we only get a size run of things and they're selling the second you open up the box. So it's going to be interesting to see how we transition this once the store's back open too. So I don't know. I don't have an exact percentage right now, but I know that it will help because our website before this just had pictures of kind of what we had, and people would call and want to order those, and they were things that, you know, we'd had months before. So I definitely think it's going to be beneficial to helping drive sales and bringing people in.
Yeah.
We skipped Leah for
so no, I just sorry.
It's okay. So for 2018, our web business was just under 10% of the total business. And then for 2019, it was closer to 18%. Wow. But I've always had so my experience before I had my store was working more in wholesale. And I knew from shipping majors that I would get an order for their physical stores of hundreds or thousands of units. And I would get an order for a website of dozens of units. And I thought, well, I mean, if Hot Topic or Spencer Gifts can't sell more pieces online, I'm not going to focus my business, my little boutique, online. I always believed in the in-store business, and that's what I saw coming true. But just like people said, the fact that I saw over time customers coming in and saying, "I saw this on your website," there was absolutely, without question, a direct line from me emailing my customers because I had updated the website and then coming in to shop. So I knew, for me, my website has always been more marketing driven, and because I enjoy it, I, you know, also do the layout work. But I only carry a few pieces per size, so I never thought of myself as a web retailer, because if I got a demand of 15 people wanting the same thing, I couldn't fill that. That being said, this last month, my web business is 100% of my business. And I really appreciate that just became part of my cycle. Like when new merchandise came in, it went to the floor and it went online, and that was just what I made sure happened. And I didn't have huge orders of, 120 styles. I might have a big order of 40 or 50 pieces, but that's still only 8 to 10 styles. If I'm ordering 4 pieces per size and I've got 44 units, that's 11 styles to put into the computer. I can get that done in 10 days. I just force myself to do it. And so that's kind of been the way I've approached it, and it's worked for me. There was one other thing I really wanted to say about the web selling, and I can't remember what it is. Maybe it'll come to me later.
Yeah, well, we're still going through rounds, so I'm sure. So if you can share, there's a question from Sophia and one question from Jan. So Sophia is asking how many of the items that you're putting on stores actually get bites. And Jan is asking what's percentage of returns?
I don't know that I could tell you the percentage of styles that get bites. I don't pay attention to it that way. My return percent is probably close to industry standard, which is 10%.
Wow, that's low, Andrea.
It's very good.
Wow, okay, that's very good. Jen, we said that the average is 25%, so Andrea is doing something really good. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, Wendy.
Wendy.
Where is Wendy?
I'm here.
Where are you?
I actually thought the industry standard was 30%, but we get about 10% too.
Wow.
I think because people are kind of familiar with it. So they really know what they want to buy and they know what they want. And they're pretty sure that's what they want when they buy it.
Okay.
All right. Margrit, percentage of returns and how many of the styles are getting
You know what? I can't. We have almost no returns on the sales that we do have because they're very unique items. And as far as styles and hits, I can't give you. I don't have a clue. I haven't had time to even think about that. And our styles are limited what we put on there, so that's not as important. When I have a sale, I know that's a good thing to put on there. So it's kind of by the seat of my pants right now. But the pieces that we have sold, I can only think of one I've had returned. So that's pretty good. Yeah.
Hey, Leah.
I think the same as Margrit. I've had almost no returns. There's 2 I can think of from last year, and I think it's because people are buying brands they know, like Alembica, they know how it fits, or something. I sell a lot of sunglasses and do not know why people like to buy sunglasses from me, but they don't usually return those. So yeah, I think I've had 2, and it was funny. The second one I had last year, it was an Alembica dress, the silver and black one, which was sleeveless. And then she bought it, I shipped it, she returned it, I credited her, and then she bought it again. And I emailed her and said, was that an accident? And she said, no, the more I thought about it, the more I realized I shouldn't have returned it. So I also don't have a particularly awesome return policy on online purchases. It's for store credit unless they pay the shipping charges. So I don't know if that affects that. But I did think of the other thing I wanted to say about the items on the website. So once I realized how important it was to put it up, I started buying at market and always looking at the photographs that the designer already had. And if there was an item I was kind of not sure if I wanted or not, if the designer didn't have it photographed, I didn't buy it.
Wow.
Because that just meant extra work for me. So I wasn't gonna do that. The last thing I wanna say about the photograph, and I'm just gonna drink the Alembica Kool-Aid here, but I started running Facebook promotions, the paid ones, a couple years ago. And I did one for likes, just to get people to like the page so they would start following me. And I have to tell you, I have the best return on my page likes when I use a killer Alembica photo. So that is when I always, I mean, it's crazy. I pay like 9 cents per like. I'm specifically thinking of that beautiful red and orange long coat from the model on the beach with the high boots. It was like 8 cents a click for me to get someone to like my page after seeing that. And that's not the only one I've used, but that was the best one. And I knew at market when I saw it, it was killer. And I wasn't sure if it was right for my particular customer. So I bought it, but I bought it light. But the photography is important, and that helped me build the community. So that was the other thing I wanted to just like pass on, food for thought.
Yeah, that's mega important.
Very important.
Kristen, where did she go? Oh, there you are. Okay. Yeah.
As far as like percentage of for styles and things, I don't really know that, but I do know like we've been adding things weekly, and we have a weekly email that we send out to our customers, and that always has what we've unpacked that week, what's going on, what promotions we're doing. So right now we're lining that up with when we're adding new things to the store, and that's always when our sales hit. So those are like our busiest days. We send that email out, and the business to the website increases extremely those days. So I know that that helps. What was the other question?
The percentage of sales and no, yeah, I think we've covered it.
Okay. Yeah, there's another.
Can I ask in between a question, Aline?
Yeah.
I'm still in shock.
No, yeah, you can't. I'm sorry. No.
I want to ask Andrea about it because to continue you said that, I think I'm thinking out loud, as you said that you are servicing customers that mostly know you. And I think that's actually a huge benefit for you, because when they go on the website, they're probably asking you questions and you have a dialogue with them, probably constantly. That's why you spend so much time there, because I can imagine Amy knows you and she's not sure about the size, and you know already what she ordered, so she's asking you, right? Is that correct?
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, I have a customer, non-local, who like wants me to style her.
Wow.
You know, she'll see a few pieces. Can you show me some other ways to wear this? Anything else you have? Buys the jewelry, the whole thing.
Yeah, so that's what I thought. That's why you have such a low return, because these women know you and you know them. You develop this relationship that you are kind of dressing them. Even though they buy online, they do talk to you. So on that thought, can you guys tell us how many customers, or you can tell us a number, but are you growing this group every season? Do you think your customer online is growing, or you kind of staying with the same group of people?
My customer base is growing.
Is growing. Wendy?
Our customer base is growing too.
You see growth. Okay.
Yes, we do.
Margrit?
Well, our customer base can only grow. It's I do see some of our regular customers have actually come back to us through the website. Excuse me. So I do see it growing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's growing. It's modest, but it's positive.
Kristen.
Yeah, ours is definitely growing. And even just starting to really utilize Instagram and Facebook and those kinds of things, I think has also helped to reach more. So with the new eCom site, that's only going to feed into that even more. So I think we're already seeing the benefits of all of that.
Thank you.
Can each of you mention between 3 and 5 things you like about your software and 3 things that you don't like about the software?
Okay. So for Shopify, I like that it's easy to buy templates for someone. I can navigate this without having to hire someone to design it for me. So that makes it easy for me. They use sections now, and you can just kind of design your templates for your catalog page, your index page, everything. Makes it very easy. I think it's easy to upload product either via their website directly or do it through a spreadsheet. And I like the apps that they have. They're third-party apps that you can download to do different things that the software itself may not be able to help you with easily.
And 3 things that you don't like about the software.
I think it lacks some features that you'd think would be normal, like I need an app to filter for size and color. they just started recently allowing orders to be edited, but it's not very intuitive. It's weird. Like I tried to help a customer yesterday and we have a discount going on and it wouldn't allow me to add that product to products with a discount. So I was invoicing her for not the correct amount. It's bizarre.
Okay.
I think that's all I can think of that I really don't like.
All right, Wendy, 3 things you like and 3 things you don't like.
I think it's pretty easy to use, just once you get to use it, just like anything else. I think it's easy to add product to. It's not easy to take off product. We can't really make any changes to our site ourselves. It almost takes a developer. But I think that they're changing that. And I think part of our problem is that our developer is very unresponsive. Otherwise, I think it would be a lot better to use. Our inventory doesn't connect to it. We originally started, we had Magento 1 and then we upgraded to Magento 2. We used T-Hub, we used QuickBooks Point of Sale on our POS system, and QuickBooks Point of Sale and T-Hub could connect to our Magento, T-Hub could connect to our QuickBooks inventory and automatically take it out of our Magento website. But when we upgraded to Magento 2, that stopped working. So that's kind of a pain because you have to take every single thing off manually when you sell something on our website.
That's a problem.
Yeah, it is. That I would say that's the biggest problem, but I'm hoping that maybe they've come up with something new now. We keep checking, but we haven't found
Andrea,
any.
just
Look into
Andrea.
Webgility. Webgility makes a product that connects them. I just started with them.
What's it called?
Webgility. And I believe they work with Magento as well. I'm having some tech support issues, but for me, the investment was something I needed to do. It's at least something to look into.
Can I ask the cost of that? May I ask the cost of that, of connecting? Because I was given a cost that was kind of outrageous by my POS system because I had to pay them and somebody else. So it was going to be like $2,000.
Oh, well, we don't have anybody that does it now.
For how long was that?
It was a setup cost of $2,000 and then an additional $200 per month.
Yeah, I pay about $200 per month. I paid for the year though. For me, I'm the only one that does our bookkeeping. That's money well spent for me.
Oh, okay. Okay, I get it. Okay, that makes sense for you. Yeah.
What's your POS system, Andrea?
QuickBooks Point of Sale. I am looking to switch to Shopify though, because I'd love my rewards to be together.
Okay, Margrit?
Let's see, the 3 things. The things I really like about it, and I think Rachel will agree, is what happens at the tail end. The sales are super simple. The money collection is super simple. If we have a return, that's super simple. Keeping in touch with and communicating with a customer about the sale is very, very easy. All of that, don't you think that's easy? Yeah. Actually taking off product is fairly easy. We figured that one out. The difficult parts are still for us adding, well, and that could be us. It could be adding the time, having the time. And right now, like I said, checking our Wi-Fi to see if that's part of the problem or if our computers are part of the problem. So I think that's my biggest complaint I have about it is the speed that it's taking us. And I'm not sure that's the product. I think that could be us. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I'm going to, that's yours. So, Leah.
So I like a lot of things about Wix. I'm a big fan. First, it's incredibly affordable. I think with e-commerce, which you don't have to have, but that's what we're talking about, It's $25 a month, but they regularly run 50% off promotions. One just ended on Wednesday. So they're talking like $12 a month, $12.50 or something, for the ability to have the e-commerce. And then it, like I said, it links really beautifully with my Square, with my MailChimp, get all that data. It does connect with Square if you use their point of sale, their Square for retail, which I looked into doing, and there's no fee to connect them as far as like the inventory being automatic. But I ended up not going with Square for retail for other purposes. So I just think it's always improving. I've been with them for such a long time. I've seen them grow so much. The templates are really nice, like, and the partner apps. I know somebody said on the calls this week that Wix doesn't have apps, but that's not true. They do have apps, and all of that stuff's free. So if you just wanted to put a website up today for your site or for your store, if you didn't have one, you can literally type in your store name, your address. They'll show you like 6 color palettes. You pick one you like, and then it has this little thing that says, you know, generator working, and it will give you a full website with limited resources, but it creates something. So I think it's intuitive. I think it's easy. I like that, you know, I have control. If I imagine I want to create a section for whatever community and I want it to look like this, I generally can do that without any real stumbling blocks. The dislikes, because there are some, I think the abandoned cart function is too limited. From what I understand, Shopify has a really good abandoned cart function. They do have one, but it's not as powerful, I don't think. I don't think it gives me as much information. I don't think it captures the customer as early. And the reviews that I mentioned before, I think that could be optimized. But there was one, I don't know if we have time right now or not.
Is that a separate app, the reviews, or is it a part of the?
It is an app. It is an app. So maybe a developer will improve it. But I remember, I went on this week because people were talking about how to connect the Facebook shop with your e-commerce. And I did it so long ago, I couldn't really remember how I did it. So I just went to look. And they've changed it. So it's now literally just a one button connect. They ask you your username, they ask you your password.
Connecting.
It's done.
Okay.
And then it also made me look at the newest apps that have been released. And there was one I was telling Yael about called Modalist, which apparently works for Shopify too. And I don't know if we have, it's 1 o'clock, so can't really get into it now, but they do drop shipping. And I just tested out 4 products on Tuesday night. And
Modalist?
I have Modalist. We can, after this call, I can call you guys and we can talk more about it. But I had 3 orders since Tuesday on this silly thing. So, and the beautiful thing of Modalist was that I put the app in my shop. Again, I logged in, I picked the items I wanted, and then they were in my e-commerce store with photographs, with descriptions, with specs and measurements, with quantity. I did nothing. So it was amazing.
Modalist?
Yeah, I'll call you guys later today.
Yeah.
We'll talk more about it.
I'm trying to find.
Thank you. Yeah.
Wait, can you spell it?
Modalist, I think. Hold on, let me. Modalist. Yeah. Here's I just got one of those orders while I got a response from the distributor when we were talking. But I just want to be careful and say I'm just testing it. It seems like the app works very well, but I can't vouch for any of these vendors. I don't know who they are.
Right.
But just the technology is pretty interesting. I'm learning who they are.
Great. Kristen.
Okay. So top things that I like, the biggest one definitely for us is how seamlessly it works with our POS. I mean, they are one in the same, which, you know, unlike some of these other ones, you're not going to be able to just get the website up and going today. But if you already have Lightspeed on the back end, then getting this up and going is really easy. Everything's already in there. That's one of the things that is definitely one of our favorite things. Also, if you have the POS, one of my favorite things about that is that you can work on everything remotely. So it's not like we have one computer at the store and you have to be there to put merchandise in or even check people out. You can do that from, I think, up to 30 different computers. So I can be at home checking what's going on in the POS while I'm also updating our web shop. So that's really nice that, you know, everything can be done remotely, especially now that we're all at home. It's also, I've heard people saying that it's hard to change things with Lightspeed. It's really easy. Like if you mess something up or you want to update, I don't know if a style number changes or prices change, like nothing is really set in stone, which has been really nice because as we started with the POS, we were kind of organizing our merchandise, putting things into categories, like in ways that made the most sense for us to keep things organized. And then moving to eCom, we realized we needed to be also focusing on what makes sense to the customers. So kind of rethinking how we were working our categories and things like that. So nothing was set in stone. We can go back and still make those changes. Lightspeed also has some really great import and export tools. So like we're not adding in, you know, each individual item on their own. We can go and like fill out type up an invoice and then import all of those things into the website. So that really helps save a lot of time. One of the things that I don't like about Lightspeed in general is that it's set up for retail, but not necessarily for apparel retail. So like for us with apparel, you know, style number is everything. That's how we communicate with our vendors. That's how we know what each piece is. They don't really care about style number as much. And I don't know if this has bothered anybody else, but it just keeps the organization from being how I would really see it. But you know, you find your ways to work around.
Do you mind? You cannot put a style number on an image.
Well, what we do is we put it in with the description. So what they do for us, like every item has a variation. So if you get a top, you might get it in 4 different colors and 4 different sizes. So a variation is the standard for us, where with Lightspeed, it's kind of like the exception. Like they expect most things to just be one-off, and then sometimes you have things with variations and you do it this way. So you can do it, but like I want the style number to be the main organization piece. They don't really do it that way. They give you a place where you can use it. So you can always search for it. It's still important information, but that's not how everything's organized. Does that make sense?
Interesting. No, it's very important. Yeah. Thank you.
That's kind of the thing that's always bothered me a little bit. You're still using it, but it's just not organized exactly how I'd like it to be. But you know, if you go on the website, you see the style number, you see the colors. So it works on eCom. That's just kind of more of the behind the thing that doesn't work for me. That's my biggest thing, but Lightspeed's it does a lot of the work for you. I think it's worked really well for us already having that set up as the POS. So we've been happy with the eCom so far.
So we actually have really good news about Lightspeed if we haven't shared it yet, and I don't think we have. So Fatima's actually did an amazing job with securing one of the Lightspeed reps to come over and demo Lightspeed for us and answer any of your questions. I see questions from Georgia and from Michelle, I think, different questions about transitioning and costs into Lightspeed. So next Friday, the Lightspeed rep will show you and will answer any of your questions. So I'm gonna, if that's okay with you, I'm gonna park those technical questions and wait for the rep to answer them.
I would just add a link because Joyce from Canada is telling Kristen that it depends on the theme that you're using in terms of the style number. I'm just saying as a side note, but all the other technical questions, she relates to the theme that you're using.
Yeah, we always use a style number. It's more just the way that, because we use that in the eCom, it's more in the POS, kind of how they read the information is different than how we use it in retail.
But again, as Aline said, we will have a representative, so it's really perfect to ask them.
Yeah. All right, so it's 2:07 Eastern time, 07 something, wherever you are. I'm gonna just condense my question to one final question, and then we'll do one more question from the chat that we haven't answered. So, with regarding to support, if you can rate the support that you get from your software between 1 being extremely bad and 10 is just perfect, how would you rate your support? And also, there was a request if you can mention the name of your store as well.
Okay. Statementbtq.com is my website. I think the support is very good. Recently, I had 2 issues. I would rate a 9 out of 10. I had 2 issues, one with a chargeback, and they gave me the information I needed to talk to my customer. And then one relating to an app marking. Google was marking something that one of my apps, and I kind of panicked, and they helped me walk me through that.
Great, thank you.
Wendy?
Well, ours has totally to do with our developer right now, and I would rate him a 1. However, if we have a technical problem, like if we have a glitch online or something and it's not working, I would rate him a 10. That's the only time.
Okay, Margrit?
I think, to be honest, I don't think we've ever had to contact WordPress for anything, because we actually have a middleman that helps us when we get stuck originally, and he's always there and available, but of course there's a charge for that. We've been quite happy with the technical aspect of it.
And
Yeah, just as a side note, WordPress is an open software, so it's like a collaboration of thousands and hundreds of thousands of developers that are working together, and so you'll always need a middleman to.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah, that's the way. Like, there's no phone number to call, and
right.
Also Shopify is based off WordPress, which explains many things. But yeah, that's good to hear. And also, again, any speed issues, really, it's connectivity. WordPress is supposed to be very smooth.
Okay. Could I just ask one question? It's totally off the cuff. Could we get a list of everybody's websites and store names that we could relate to and kind of figure out what everybody's been saying on our own time? Would that be possible later when we're off?
Yeah, I believe we shared a list at the beginning of the conversations.
Right.
I'll share it again.
Okay. Do you mind?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I'll send an email.
Leah, so I know you've put yours here, but maybe for those that have not seen it on the chat. Leah?
I think the help is pretty good. When I lived close to where an office was, the help was outstanding because I could actually meet with them face to face. So if you're in one of those 5 cities, if you're in LA or New York area, Miami, something else, then I think it's awesome. And I found them to be pretty responsive. I don't contact them a lot, but I think that any issue I've had, I've been happy with how they've handled it. I have a short temper sometimes, so if they didn't, I probably would have left them.
And your website?
Oh, I put it in the chat. It's love-launch.com.
Yeah. All right. And Kristen?
Sorry, my baby just took a tumble.
Oh.
I'm from Possibilities. It's possibilitiesboutique.com. And the support at Lightspeed is great. They do lots of training sessions. Their phone support is 24/7. And then they also do chat support, which is great if you don't want to, I mean, sometimes you do have to sit on hold for a little bit, but they do callbacks. And then you have that chat if you just need to kind of ask a quick question and don't want to sit on the phone. So yeah, they've been really helpful.
Great. There's one question here that I missed, and please let me know if I missed anything else. There's a question from Gloria, good information. So which POS system does work better with retail apparel variances? So
I hope I didn't confuse anybody with the style number, because you can still do variances. It's just they kind of have they have a very broad way of organizing everything so that any kind of retail company can use that. So it's not specifically, it wasn't specifically created for apparel, but it still works with apparel. Does that make sense? It's just created to be a little more broad. So it does still work with variances like color and size and different style numbers, and you can still use style numbers, but it's just, you kind of organize it in the way that works best for you.
Okay. Makes sense. Good. I think we covered almost all of the questions. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us on this session as well. Thank you so much, Andrea and Wendy and Margrit and Leah and Kristen, for sharing all this information. It's really very interesting to listen to that as well. And next week, so we have the Lightspeed rep that is coming to do a demo and answer your questions. And we're going to send the full schedule to you this weekend.